When reading a book, the first chapter hooks you with more thoughts than you'd imagine. But do we focus on the middle? That in-between that casts a huge story and ties it all together. Our lives are some of our experiences, thoughts, feelings, and in-betweens. April 11th, 2015, my senior year of high school, I decided to attend Sonoma State University. I thought I had it all figured out, but little did I know it was just the beginning. I had started at Sonoma, completed my first year, and was moving on to my second. I thought I could tackle anything and had never felt more confident. Quickly, the year was more difficult than I anticipated. My mental health started suffering, and although I sought resources on and off campus, it didn't get any better. I ended up leaving October of 2016 after contacting my parents and making the decision that coming home was the best thing. I didn't know what to do next, what to say to anyone. I didn't know how I was going to recover after my world had crumbled. I wanted to start classes immediately, but of course, my dad said no. In anger, I asked why, and he responded with, "You need a break, you'll go back to school." I have no doubt in that. Although difficult, I listened even when I stubbornly thought that I knew better. Therapy was the first step, and I thankfully found someone that I connected really well with. I slowly got a part-time job and added some structure back into my life. After I started school again, I decided to register at San Jose City College. I started with a full load of classes, 15 units. I hadn't done that in a year and questioned my ability to do it again. Although I loved going to school, after the year I went through, I had little to no self-confidence. One of the first classes that I took was public speaking with Mrs. Jacqueline. I almost sprinted out of my first speech. On the verge of a panic attack, I leaned over from my table and told Miss Jacqueline, "I'm gonna head out. I can't do this." Before I could grab my backpack and leave, she told me that I could and that it would be done a lot sooner than I expected. I'll admit, I didn't believe her for a second. It felt like my heart was racing and that these terrible moments would never end. She looked at me with full confidence and told me, "You can do this, it'll all be okay." Instead of still letting the doubtful thoughts fill every space in my mind, I took a deep breath, I opened my eyes, I stood up, and I made my way to the front of the classroom. I gave my speech, and what was 5 minutes felt like 30 seconds. I swear I blacked out for like half of it, but once I sat down, I had no doubts. I was still breathing, and the world was still turning with no issues. I had conquered my fear, and Mrs. Jacqueline told me, "Great job," as I sat down. I felt on top of the world. I finished off my first semester with A's and B's as I still continued my part-time job. My second semester, I had heard of Let Your Life Speak. I took a chance, I pitched my story, and I was selected. I practiced for weeks. I was so terrified. This was the first time that my family would know that I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. All of my struggles, it was kept between few and shared with little to no one. But now everybody would know. After my speech, my family embraced me. Hugs, congrats, and support I was afraid I wouldn't get. Being a part of Let Your Life Speak proved to me that I could do anything, and I had all that self-confidence back. I later graduated with 2 AAs and was moving on to San Jose State fall of 2018 to pursue my bachelor's in communication studies. Starting at SJSU, I was beyond excited to take upper division courses, though I would be lying if I said I wish I could have just finished at San Jose City College. I truly loved the department and all of the support that I got. I took a particular interest in organizational communication when I attended San Jose State. It was really challenging, but I looked forward to every class. I never missed a single day, and Although I didn't get the grade I wanted, it was still one of the best classes I've taken. I even went so far to connect with a professor that he became my academic advisor and helped me graduate a semester early. I later based my senior thesis on organizational communication as well. I graduated December of 2019, and I debated going to get my master's. I knew that I wanted to, but I just thought, a gap year wouldn't be the worst thing. Before I knew it, there was a global pandemic, and now I was laid off and stuck at home. I thought I might as well apply, and so with a month left, I applied for my master's and thought the worst thing that they're going to say is no. I anxiously waited by that computer screen, refreshing every single day to see when that email would come in. I got accepted, and I started fall of 2020 with the laptop sitting on my bed, not knowing a single person. This was the most challenging thing yet. During my first semester, I came really close to quitting. I thought maybe this just wasn't for me. I finally finished my first literature review, 15 pages. And no, that does not include the references. That is without references. I knew I could do it and geared up for my next semester. I eventually made it through 1 year and felt like I could do anything. The tears, sleepless nights, and long papers were all worth it. I applied to be a graduate teaching associate for fall of 2021. And this would mean teaching a class entirely on my own. If you can take a wild guess, that class would in fact be public speaking. I wanted to teach in higher ed, which is why I wanted my master's, so this was a path into that world. I was accepted and started teaching fall of 2021. It was a bit funny that the exact class that I almost ran out of myself was the one I was standing in front of teaching. I will admit, I had the same fears on my first day. I took a breath and told myself, you can do it, and it'll be over sooner than you think. Again, I felt like I blacked out just a bit, but there's always going to be some fear in public speaking. But then the next class, it was easier, and it continued. And the more I taught, the more I loved it. I love teaching, but I love learning from my students as well, and seeing their growth along with mine as I continued. I taught for 2 semesters while completing my master's and still working. I graduated spring of 2022, the first in my family to get my bachelor's and now my master's. Now, I have started a new position in the registrar's office at San Jose State, and I hope to later teach full-time. I look back and see myself so excited for that freshman year of college. Little did I know where it would be. My in-between is challenging, growing, and I still don't know what's written ahead. My journey is just at its beginning. Thank you.